Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started.
Okay.
Today, we're diving into Pat Barker's Voyage Home.
Ooh, interesting.
It's a fascinating read, and I'm really looking forward to unpacking the story with you, especially since you've provided us with some excellent notes and excerpts.
It's a unique perspective on the Trojan War, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Barker shifts the focus away from the battlefield and onto the journey home.
Right.
Specifically, the experiences of the women caught in the aftermath.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she doesn't waste any time plunging us into the heart of the story.
No, she doesn't.
We begin with Cassandra,
Right.
a Trojan princess and priestess,
Okay.
and Ritsa, her body slave, amidst the ruins of Troy.
It's a powerful opening scene.
Yeah.
Barker juxtaposes the enduring stone structures of Troy with the temporary, almost flimsy Greek encampment,
Right.
highlighting the stark reality of defeat and displacement.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And within this scene, we see the seeds of the complex dynamic between Cassandra and Ritsa.
Oh, absolutely.
Ritsa harbors a strong dislike for Cassandra,
Yeah.
partly due to their differing social positions, and partly because of Cassandra's often cryptic behavior.
Their relationship is fascinating.
Yes.
There's a clear power imbalance,
Right.
but there's also a shared sense of loss and uncertainty.
Yeah,
And this tension is amplified by the secrets they both carry.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. Remember that detail about Cassandra packing a bag of special clothes?
Oh, yes.
Ritsa is tasked with carrying this heavy bag,
Okay.
but Cassandra refuses to explain its significance.
Right, right.
It's a small detail, but it speaks volumes about their relationship
Absolutely.
and the mysteries that surround them.
It's as if they're both weighed down, not just by physical burdens, but by the weight of their experiences.
Yes.
And the unknown future that awaits them.
And that sense of unease intensifies as they leave Troy.
Yes, definitely.
Barker captures this beautifully in the scene on the ship,
Okay.
where the singing women lament their fate.
Mm-hmm.
Their voices filled with both grief and a haunting sense of finality.
It's so powerful.
It's clear that this is no ordinary journey.
Right.
It's a departure from everything they've ever known.
And the physical journey mirrors their emotional state.
Yes.
Their cabin on the ship, the Medusa, is cramped and damp,
Oh, yeah.
amplifying Ritsa's feelings of being trapped and her anxieties about being below deck.
It's interesting how Barker uses the setting to reflect the character's inner turmoil,
Yes.
the cramped cabin, the constant rocking of the ship.
Uh-huh.
It all contributes to a sense of claustrophobia and uncertainty.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's on the Medusa that we're introduced to Andreas, the ship's captain.
Right.
He's an old acquaintance of Ritsa's from her hometown.
Okay.
And his kindness offers a brief respite from the tension.
I found their connection intriguing.
Yeah?
It's a reminder that even in the midst of chaos and displacement, human connections can endure.
For sure.
And Andreas plays a crucial role in prompting Ritsa to reflect on her past.
He does. He reminds her of a time before the war,
Yeah.
the time when life was simpler.
Right.
And this sparks a cascade of difficult memories for Ritsa, particularly the story of Iphigenia.
Iphigenia's sacrifice is a turning point for Ritsa.
Absolutely.
It forces her to confront the brutality of the Greeks
Yeah.
and the immense power Agamemnon wields.
It's chilling, yeah.
It's a chilling reminder of the cost of war
Right.
and the sacrifices made in the name of victory.
And Iphigenia's story is also intricately woven into Cassandra's narrative.
Yes.
Remember the scene where Agamemnon mistakes Cassandra for Iphigenia?
Oh, yes.
It blurs the lines between past and present,
Yeah.
highlighting the lasting impact of trauma
Yeah,
and the ghosts that haunt these characters.
definitely.
Yeah.
And we see Cassandra's own complex reaction to this situation.
Uh-huh.
Her blunt statements about pregnancy and briseis reveal a pragmatic, even hardened perspective on choice and power in this world.
Interesting.
It's as if she's trying to shield herself from further pain
Right.
by adopting a detached, almost cynical worldview.
While Cassandra grapples with her unique situation, Ritsa is forced to confront a deeply personal trauma,
Right.
her experience of being raped.
Yes,
It's a harrowing reminder of the vulnerability of women, especially during wartime.
absolutely.
And Barker handles the subject matter with sensitivity,
Yeah.
highlighting Ritsa's struggle with shame and silence.
That's a really important point.
Yes.
Ritsa's experience is never sensationalized or exploited.
No, definitely not.
Instead, Barker focuses on the emotional and psychological impact of this trauma,
Right.
allowing Ritsa's voice and perspective to come through.
And what makes Ritsa's experience even more poignant is that it occurs against the backdrop of Cassandra's relationship with Agamemnon.
Yes.
Ritsa witnesses the power dynamics between them, particularly as Cassandra reveals that she actually derives a certain enjoyment from this dynamic.
Oh, wow. That's such a complex
It is.
and unsettling revelation.
It further complicates Ritsa's understanding of power,
Right.
choice, and survival in this world where women are often pawns in a larger game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It sets the stage for the arrival of Mycenae,
Yes.
where the power dynamics become even more intricate and dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get there, I think it's worth noting how Barker ends this section of the book.
Okay.
We see Agamemnon, despite his inner turmoil,
Yeah.
being rejuvenated by the cheers of his soldiers.
Right.
It's a reminder that outward appearances can be deceiving, and that power can be both a source of strength
Yes.
and a mask for vulnerability.
It's a brilliant way to set the stage for the next chapter of the story.
Yes.
We're left with a sense of anticipation and unease,
Absolutely.
wondering how these characters will navigate the complexities of their homecoming and the secrets that lie hidden beneath the surface of their relationships.
For sure.
Yeah,
It definitely leaves you wanting more.
it does.
So with that, let's move on to their arrival in Mycenae and the escalating tensions that await them there.
Okay. As the Medusa docks in Mycenae, there's a real sense of homecoming for some, but for others, it's just another stop on a journey filled with unease.
Yeah, and a mixed bag of emotions, isn't it? The surviving Greek soldiers are undoubtedly relieved to be back on home soil,
Yeah,
but for Ritsa and Cassandra,
right.
Mycenae represents a whole new set of challenges.
Exactly. It's almost like they've traded one battlefield for another,
Right.
and it starts with the arrival itself.
Yeah.
Ritsa has this poignant farewell with Andreas,
Yeah,
the ship's captain, and confesses that she feels no desire to return to her own home in Lyrnessus.
It really stands out, that confession.
What stands out to you about it?
Well, it seems like Ritsa has been so profoundly affected by the war
Right.
that she no longer sees her former life as a place of belonging. It's as if the trauma she's experienced has severed those ties.
It's a powerful statement, particularly considering the longing for home that permeates the other Greek soldiers.
Yeah.
And it sets Ritsa apart, highlighting her unique journey and perspective. And then, as she bids farewell to Andreas,
Yeah.
we're introduced to Clytemnestra, Agamemnon's wife.
It's a pivotal moment, isn't it? We've heard whispers of Clytemnestra's discontent,
Yes.
but now we finally see her,
Right.
shrouded in anticipation and apprehension as she awaits her husband's return after 10 long years.
She represents the other side of the war,
Right.
the side that endured years of waiting and uncertainty while their men were away fighting.
It makes you think about all those untold stories,
Yes.
all the silent burdens carried by those who were left behind.
Right.
And Clytemnestra's perspective adds a whole new dimension to the narrative.
Barker does a brilliant job of capturing Clytemnestra's inner turmoil.
Yeah.
She's grappling with a mix of emotions,
Right.
relief at Agamemnon's return, but also a growing unease about what his homecoming will mean for their family.
Remember those nighttime meetings she has with Rasmus, the watchman?
Oh, yeah.
Their conversations are filled with tension and foreshadowing.
Oh, for sure.
Rasmus, with his cynical remarks,
Right.
constantly remind Clytemnestra of the inevitability of Agamemnon's return, stirring her already conflicted feelings.
Those scenes are so well crafted. They create this atmosphere of secrecy and anticipation,
Yeah.
hinting at the darkness that's brewing beneath the surface of this seemingly triumphant homecoming.
Absolutely. And it's clear that Clytemnestra is carrying a lot of baggage.
Yeah.
Grief for Iphigenia.
Right.
Resentment towards Agamemnon for the sacrifice he made.
Yeah.
And a simmering desire for revenge.
It's a potent mix of emotions, and it drives her actions throughout the rest of the story. She's
Ah.
not just a grieving mother.
Right.
She's a woman of power who has ruled Mycenae in Agamemnon's absence.
He's a force to be reckoned with.
She is.
That's for sure.
And as the day of Agamemnon's arrival approaches,
Mm-hmm.
the tension ratchets up even further.
Okay.
We see preparations being made throughout Mycenae.
Right.
Watchfires are lit, signaling his imminent return, and there's a palpable sense of excitement among the Greeks.
But for Ritsa, there's a sense of foreboding.
Yeah.
Remember how she sees those black columns of smoke rising from the watchfires
Yes.
and interprets them as a bad omen?
It's as if she's sensing the darkness that's lurking beneath the surface of this celebratory atmosphere. Her perspective as an outsider offers a stark contrast to the blind enthusiasm of the Mycenaean court.
It's an interesting parallel to Cassandra's role as a prophet, isn't it?
It is.
They both seem to sense the impending doom, but their warnings go unheeded.
And while Ritsa is observing these preparations with trepidation,
Yeah.
Clytemnestra is wrestling with her own internal demons.
Right.
She longs to meet Agamemnon in private first, away from the prying eyes of the court.
I wonder what she's hoping to achieve with that private encounter.
Mm.
Is it to gauge his true intentions?
Maybe.
Or perhaps to steel herself for the confrontation to come?
It's a fascinating question.
Yeah.
It suggests that there's a deep-seated mistrust and resentment that has festered over the years.
Adds another layer of complexity to their already fractured relationship.
And then we're introduced to Electra,
Yes.
Clytemnestra, and Agamemnon's daughter.
Okay.
Her innocent questions about her father serve as a stark reminder of the innocence lost amidst the backdrop of war and revenge.
It's heartbreaking, really.
It is.
Electra has no idea of the darkness that surrounds her family, the pain and secrets that have been buried for so long.
Her presence adds a tragic dimension to the story.
Yes.
She represents the hope for a future free from the shadow of the past.
Right.
Yet her innocence also foreshadows the tragedy that's about to unfold.
And then there's that heart-wrenching moment when Clytemnestra realizes that Agamemnon genuinely loved Iphigenia.
Oh, it's a pivotal scene.
Yes.
It humanizes Agamemnon, showing us that he's not just a ruthless warrior, but a man capable of love and grief. And it adds another dimension to Clytemnestra's planned revenge.
Yes.
Making it even more difficult and emotionally charged.
Because it means that her revenge won't just be about punishing Agamemnon.
Right.
It'll also be about destroying the memory of the love he had for their daughter.
It's a complex and tragic situation.
Yeah.
Clytemnestra's actions are driven by a desire for justice,
Right.
but they're also fueled by a deep well of pain and anger.
Yes.
And that realization about Agamemnon's love for Iphigenia makes her planned revenge even more devastating.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that even the most hardened hearts are capable of love and grief.
And it underscores the cyclical nature of violence, how one act of love can be twisted into a catalyst for revenge.
Right.
So as we move into the next part of the story, we're left with this incredibly charged atmosphere.
The stage is set for a dramatic confrontation, and the arrival of the feast only intensifies the tension. The feast is in full swing, and oh, the atmosphere.
It's thick with tension. You can almost feel it.
You can feel the storm brewing, can't you?
Yeah, as Clytemnestra's anger simmers beneath the surface.
It's a brilliant contrast, isn't it? The outward celebration, the lavish food and drink, all masking the deep-seated resentment and the impending violence. Barker really masterfully builds the suspense in this section of the book.
She does, yeah. And amidst this growing tension,
Mm-hmm.
we have these little moments of interaction. They just add to the unease.
Right.
Like Ritz's encounter with Machaon in his workshop.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Machaon's surprise at being back after 10 years.
Yeah.
The way he almost seems out of place, it highlights how much has changed in Mycena.
It does. It really does.
And that detail about the small handprints on his workbench.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
It's such a poignant reminder of the life that existed before the war consumed everything.
Like a ghost of a happier time.
Yes.
A fleeting memory of innocence and normalcy that's been shattered by the events of the war.
It makes the impending tragedy even more heartbreaking.
Oh, absolutely.
It's also interesting to note how Clytemnestra's demeanor shifts during the feast.
Oh, how so?
She seems to fade into the background as the attention turns towards Cassandra,
Right.
who unfortunately becomes the target of unwanted advances from the men.
I noticed that too.
It's as if Clytemnestra's power is diminishing as Agamemnon reclaims his position at the head of the court.
Right.
And it fuels her anger,
Yeah.
making her even more determined to carry out her plan.
It's a subtle but powerful shift in dynamics.
And then we have the reappearance of Electra,
Oh, yes.
who brings a whole other layer of tragedy to the scene.
Right.
Her childish innocence and attachment to her father are so poignant, especially knowing what's about to unfold.
It is one of those moments where you just want to reach into the book
Yes.
and warn her, protect her from the horrors that are about to engulf her family.
And then we come to the preparations for Agamemnon's bath.
Okay.
It's a seemingly mundane event,
Mm-hmm.
but Barker imbues it with this chilling sense of foreboding.
The way she describes the bathhouse, the luxurious details, the scented oils, it all creates an atmosphere of indulgence and vulnerability.
Yes.
It's almost like a ritualistic cleansing before the sacrifice.
And it's within this scene that Ritsa makes a startling discovery. a specially made robe,
Oh, yes.
seemingly innocuous, but she recognizes it as a means of restraint.
A powerful moment for Ritsa.
Yes.
It shows how her past experiences as a slave have given her a unique understanding of power and control.
Right.
She sees the danger lurking beneath the surface of this seemingly harmless garment.
It speaks to the cunning and forethought behind Clytemnestra's plan.
It does.
She's using Agamemnon's own desire for comfort against him,
Right.
luring him into a trap.
Chilling.
And as Agamemnon makes his way to the bathhouse,
Yeah.
surrounded by the oblivious crowd,
Right.
the tension becomes almost unbearable.
You know it's coming.
But you can't look away.
It's a masterfully crafted scene.
And then Clytemnestra strikes,
Yes.
murdering Agamemnon in a brutal and decisive act of revenge.
It's raw. It's unflinching.
The violence is, and it leaves you breathless.
The arrival of Electra in that moment.
Oh, yes.
Her innocent question, what's wrong with Daddy?
It just amplifies the horror of the situation.
It does.
It's a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of revenge.
And in the aftermath of this bloodshed,
Mm.
we see Cassandra's final act of defiance,
Right.
giving Ritsa her necklace and uttering those haunting words, I think the gods enjoy themselves.
A line that speaks to the capricious nature of fate and the often cruel whims of the gods.
It's a chilling reminder that even in their final moments, these characters are still grappling with the mysteries of life and death, the forces that shape their destinies.
And then the focus shifts to Ritsa's escape from the palace.
Yes.
We see her resourcefulness, her determination to survive, even as chaos reigns around her.
A testament to her strength and resilience.
And it's interesting how she ends up tending to Mimelm's wound,
Right.
showing compassion, even in the midst of this turmoil.
And her final moments with Cassandra are particularly poignant.
Yes. The gift of the necklace symbolizes a transfer of power and legacy, a reminder of their shared journey.
It's a beautiful but heartbreaking moment.
Ritsa ultimately decides to stay in Mycenae,
Okay.
despite her unease.
Right.
And Clytemnestra, in a chilling twist,
Yeah.
offers her a position within the palace, emphasizing the importance of loyalty.
That final image of the Furies dancing on the roof is so haunting.
It is, isn't it?
It's a reminder of the cyclical nature of violence,
Mm-hmm.
the enduring power of the past.
It leaves us with a sense of unease,
Yeah.
wondering what the future holds for Ritsa.
Right.
Will she be able to navigate the treacherous waters of the Mycenaean court?
Yeah.
Or will she become another victim of the endless cycle of revenge?
It's a powerful ending to a truly thought-provoking book.
It is.
Voyage Home is a story that stays with you, prompting you to reflect on the complexities of war, revenge, and the human condition.
It challenges our assumptions
It does.
and forces us to confront the uncomfortable realities of power and its consequences. Well, this has been a truly insightful deep dive into Voyage Home.
It has.
I'm so glad we had the opportunity to explore this book together.
Me too.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride.
Yes.
Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word,